Remakes usually get a bad rap, but every once in a while, Hollywood gets it right. In this video, we're counting down the 10 greatest movie remakes of all time. The ones that didn't just copy the original, but somehow made it even better. So, whether you're a fan of classics or modern hits, these remakes prove that sometimes lightning can strike twice. Roger Corman's 1960 Little Shop of Horrors is a low-budget gem, but when Frank Oz took the 1982 musical adaptation to the big screen in 1986, things got a whole lot weirder and a whole lot better. The comic book style sets, the much-improved Audrey II puppet, seriously, the thing's a masterpiece, and Rick Moranis as the perfect nerdy plant caretaker, all made this version a standout. It's campy, colorful, and fun in all the ways Corman's version couldn't quite pull off.
Where did you get such a weird plan? Feed me all night long.
How am I supposed to keep on feeding you?
Whoa! Catch me now! I'm just a mean green mother from outer space and I'm dead.
The Birdcage takes the French comedy and gives it a slick Hollywood makeover. But don't worry, it's still hilarious. Robin Williams and Nathan Lane steal the show as the couple at the center of the farce, and the entire cast brings the laughs. While the plot sticks close to the original, it's the performances, especially from Hank Azaria and the rest of the supporting cast, that make The Birdcage stand out. It's a rare remake that might actually outshine the original.
Who's his father? His father is in the arts.
You do an eclectic celebration of the dance. You do fussy, fussy, fussy. You do Martha Graham, Martha Graham, Martha Graham. Or Madonna, Madonna, Madonna. But you keep it all inside.
What?
Get the pinky down. I hold the knife boldly and with strength.
I'm gonna like pierce the toast.
David Cronenberg's version of The Fly didn't just update the original sci-fi flick released all the way back in 1958. It transformed it into a grotesque, unforgettable horror experience. Jeff Goldblum plays a scientist whose experiment with teleportation goes horribly wrong, turning him into a human-fly hybrid. With Cronenberg's signature body horror on full display, The Fly drags you through a terrifying transformation that's tough to watch, but impossible to look away from. It's everything a remake should be: darker, scarier, and unforgettable.
Those weird hairs that were growing out of your back, I had them analyzed. But they were definitely not human.
I'm afraid.
Don't be afraid.
No, be afraid. Be very afraid.
A South Korean remake of 2015 drama, Remember takes a unique revenge plot and gives it a Korean twist. The original starred Christopher Plummer as an elderly man with dementia, hunting down those connected to the Third Reich. This version, set in present-day Korea, ties the revenge plot to the Japanese colonial era. It's less reflective and more of a straight-up revenge thriller, and while it doesn't match the original in every way, Lee Sung-min delivers a powerful performance that gives this remake its own edge.
뇌종양 말기 알츠하이머 환자입니다.
정말 그 일을 실행할 건가?
이제 자네가 죽어줘야겠네.
도대체 왜 이렇게까지 하시는 거예요?
저희 가족을 파멸시켰습니다.
Turning a samurai epic into a western might sound like a stretch, but John Sturges pulled it off with The Magnificent Seven. Based on Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, this version shifts the action to the American frontier, where a group of gunfighters protects a Mexican village from bandits. It might not hit the same heights as Kurosawa's original, but with an iconic cast and one of the greatest film scores ever composed, it became a classic in its own right. Kurosawa himself was so impressed, he gifted Sturges a ceremonial samurai sword as a sign of approval.
Even 5 wouldn't give us too much trouble.
There won't be any trouble if you ride on.
John Waters' Hairspray, released in 1988, was all kinds of weird and wonderful, with its offbeat satire of 1960s pop culture and Divine playing Tracy's mom. Adam Shankman's 2007 remake tried to capture that same energy, and actually came pretty close. The remake features John Travolta in the role Divine made famous, along with all the colorful chaos, goofy characters, and over-the-top racial activism. It may not have the same gritty charm, but it turns up the musical fun, making it a worthwhile revisit.
No one in this house is auditioning for anything.
But Mom! Amber?
Save your personal life for the cameras, sweetie. Oh, shiny.
Our brand new council member, Miss Tracy Turnblad.
First the hair, now this.
Tracy certainly has redefined our standards.
That's for sure.
If we get any more white people in here, this is gonna be a sub.
Terry Gilliam took the 28-minute French short and expanded it into 12 Monkeys, a mind-bending dystopian sci-fi flick that's as visually striking as it is narratively complex. With Bruce Willis playing a convict sent back in time to stop a future apocalypse and Brad Pitt delivering a Golden Globe-winning performance as a hyperactive mental patient, the film packs a punch. Pitt's chaotic energy makes every scene he's in unforgettable, and Gilliam's signature style turns what could have been a straightforward remake into a film that's as twisty as it is darkly captivating.
This is a place for crazy people.
I'm not saying you're not mentally ill. For all I know, you're crazy as a loon.
The army, the 12 monkeys, they're the ones that spread the virus.
Monkey.
People start dying next month. I don't belong here.
You're here because of the system.
I know some things that you don't know.
Yes, my son.
Coda. This movie is a remake of the 2014 French film La Famille Bélier, but it brings so much more to the table. The story follows a teenage girl who's the only hearing member of her deaf family, torn between pursuing her dreams and helping her family communicate in a hearing world. What sets this remake apart is the casting. Deaf actors in the deaf roles, which makes the emotional beats feel even more authentic. This one is a deeply moving film that swept the award circuit for a reason.
I want to do this.
There are plenty of pretty voices with nothing to say. Do you have something to say?
Alfred Hitchcock wasn't one to leave well enough alone, and when he decided to remake his own 1934 film, The Man Who Knew Too Much, he proved that he could top even himself. James Stewart and Doris Day take the lead in this version, which tightens the suspense and heightens the drama compared to the original. The plot about a vacationing couple drawn into an international conspiracy remains largely the same, but the tension is ratcheted up several notches. Hitchcock called the original amateur work, and he wasn't wrong. This remake is the one that truly sticks with you.
For backgrounds of a whole strange series of events that ended up that final night in the great concert hall, where the cue for murder was one single crash of the cymbals.
John Wayne may have owned the role of Rooster Cogburn in the 1969 original, but Joel and Ethan Coen's remake gave us a true grit that digs deeper into the grit and grime of the Old West. Haley Steinfeld's Mattie Ross is sharp and determined, and Jeff Bridges takes Rooster to new levels of rough and tumble as the reluctant hero. The Coens pull dialogue straight from the original novel, and with Roger Deakins behind the camera, the film looks stunning. It's not just a rehash. This true grit stands on its own, showing that even a classic can be outdone.
I'm going with you.
Congratulations, you've graduated from marauder to wet nurse.
He's being followed.
We do, Marshal.
You missed your shot, Cogburn.
Just let this go.
I thought you were going to say the sun was in your eyes. That is to say, your eye